Attraction rarely announces itself in obvious or dramatic ways. More often, it lives in the quiet space between words, in subtle psychological cues that people express without conscious intention. Human beings are wired to communicate emotion not only through speech, but through tone, posture, timing, and attention. When someone feels drawn to another person, their internal world begins to reorganize around that interest. Thoughts become more focused, awareness becomes sharper, and behavior starts to shift in ways that can be observed if you know what to look for. These signals are not scripted performances. They are natural extensions of how the brain processes desire, curiosity, and emotional connection. One of the most important things to understand is that attraction begins in the mind long before it becomes visible in action. When someone is intrigued by another person, their brain assigns that individual a higher level of significance. This heightened importance affects memory, perception, and emotional response. Small interactions carry more weight. A casual joke may linger in her thoughts longer than expected, or a brief conversation might replay in her mind with surprising clarity. This mental replay is not random. It reflects a process where the brain is exploring possibilities, imagining scenarios, and trying to understand the emotional meaning of the connection. These internal processes naturally leak into external behavior. For example, attention becomes more focused and selective. In group settings, her awareness may subtly gravitate toward you. She may track your reactions during conversations or notice changes in your mood faster than others do. This doesn't necessarily mean she is staring or behaving in an obvious way. Often, it's much quieter, a pattern of consistent awareness that signals emotional interest. The mind prioritizes what it values, and attraction increases that priority. Another subtle cue lies in emotional responsiveness. When someone feels drawn to you, your words and actions tend to evoke stronger reactions. She might laugh a bit more easily at your humor or show genuine curiosity about your opinions. This heightened responsiveness is not about pretending to be interested. It's about the nervous system becoming more engaged in your presence. Attraction activates emotional circuits that heighten sensitivity, making interactions feel more vivid and memorable. Timing also plays a role in these psychological cues. People who are attracted often adjust their availability in small but meaningful ways. Responses to messages may come a little faster, conversations may stretch slightly longer, and moments of silence may be filled with an effort to keep the interaction alive. These adjustments are rarely planned. They happen because the person feels energized by the connection and wants to sustain it. The brain associates the interaction with positive emotion, encouraging behaviors that prolong that feeling. It's equally important to recognize that these cues exist on a spectrum. Personality, culture, and individual communication styles all influence how attraction is expressed. Some people are naturally expressive while others are more reserved. Subtle psychological signals do not look identical in every person. What remains consistent is the underlying mechanism. Attraction increases attention, emotional engagement, and cognitive focus on the person of interest. Understanding these cues requires patience and emotional intelligence. It's easy to misinterpret isolated behaviors, which is why patterns matter more than single moments. A one-time gesture can mean many things, but repeated signs of attentiveness and engagement suggest a deeper psychological process at work. Observing with empathy rather than assumption allows you to appreciate the complexity of human interaction. Ultimately, recognizing that attraction appears through subtle psychological cues encourages a more thoughtful approach to relationships. Instead of searching for dramatic proof, you begin to notice the gentle shifts in energy, focus, and emotion that signal genuine interest. These quiet indicators remind us that human connection is built not only on grand gestures, but on the small, consistent ways people show up for one another. Playful curiosity is one of the clearest psychological indicators of romantic interest because it reflects an active desire to explore another person's inner world. When someone feels drawn to you, their attention doesn't stop at surface-level facts. Instead, it moves toward understanding how you think, what motivates you, and what experiences have shaped you. This curiosity carries a light, energetic quality. It feels natural and engaging rather than intrusive, creating conversations that flow with ease and warmth. At its core, playful curiosity is driven by imagination. When a person fantasizes about someone, their mind begins to construct possibilities, shared conversations, future experiences, and emotional scenarios. Asking thoughtful questions becomes a way of gathering material for those mental pictures. Worsikis. She may want to know what excites you, what challenges you've overcome, or what you dream of doing in the future. These questions are not random. They represent an attempt to map your personality and see where her own story might intersect with yours. This kind of curiosity often shows up in the way conversations deepen over time. Early interactions might begin with simple topics, but they gradually expand into more personal territory. She may remember something you mentioned before and return to it later, asking follow-up questions that show sustained interest. This continuity signals that your words are not being forgotten after the conversation ends. Instead, they are being carried forward, reflected upon, and woven into an evolving understanding of who you are. Playful curiosity also carries an element of emotional safety. When someone is interested in you, they often create an environment where you feel encouraged to share. Their tone becomes inviting, their reactions supportive, and their presence attentive. This atmosphere makes it easier to open up, which in turn strengthens the connection. The exchange becomes a collaborative exploration rather than a one-sided interview. Both people contribute stories, humor, and insight, building a rhythm that feels mutually engaging. Humor frequently plays a role in this process. Light teasing, shared jokes, and spontaneous laughter can all signal a comfort level that supports curiosity. Humor lowers social barriers and allows people to explore personal topics without feeling overly vulnerable. When she engages in playful banter, it often reflects a desire to keep the interaction lively and memorable. The emotional energy created by humor reinforces positive associations with the connection. Another important aspect of playful curiosity is attentiveness to nuance. She may notice subtle shifts in your tone or mood and gently ask about them. This sensitivity suggests that her interest extends beyond gathering facts. She is paying attention to emotional context. Recognizing these small details requires focus and empathy, both of which tend to increase when attraction is present. The mind becomes tuned to the other person's signals, seeking a deeper level of understanding. It's important to remember that genuine curiosity respects boundaries. Healthy interest never pressures someone to reveal more than they are comfortable sharing. Instead, it adapts to cues and responds with patience. This balance between eagerness and respect is what makes playful curiosity feel safe rather than overwhelming. It demonstrates emotional intelligence and an awareness that trust develops gradually. Patterns are again more meaningful than isolated moments. A single thoughtful question can simply reflect politeness, but a consistent pattern of engaged, evolving curiosity points to sustained interest. Over time, these conversations create a sense of familiarity and connection. You may begin to feel that she understands you in a way that others do not, which strengthens the emotional bond. Ultimately, playful curiosity is a bridge between imagination and reality. It transforms private thoughts into shared dialogue, allowing attraction to grow through conversation and discovery. By exploring each other's perspectives with openness and warmth, two people create a space where connection can deepen naturally. This process highlights an essential truth about human relationships. Meaningful attraction is not only about chemistry, but about the willingness to truly know and be known. Mirroring behavior is one of the most fascinating ways attraction reveals itself because it operates largely beneath conscious awareness. Human beings are social creatures whose brains are designed to synchronize with others. When someone feels emotionally drawn to you, their mind and body often begin to echo your expressions, gestures, and rhythms in subtle ways. This process is not imitation in a deliberate sense. Rather, it is a natural psychological response that signals comfort, interest, and a desire for connection with At a neurological level, mirroring is linked to the brain's capacity for empathy and social bonding. When two people feel aligned, their nervous systems start to move in harmony. She might match your speaking pace, adopt similar posture, or reflect your facial expressions during conversation. If you lean in slightly while talking, she may do the same without realizing it. These small adjustments create a sense of physical and emotional synchronization that makes interactions feel smoother and more engaging. One reason mirroring is so powerful is that it fosters a sense of familiarity. People tend to feel more comfortable with those who resemble them in behavior and energy. When attraction is present, the mind unconsciously reduces social distance by aligning with the other person's mannerisms. This alignment sends a quiet message of acceptance and rapport. It suggests that she feels safe enough to let her natural responses flow in tandem with yours. Mirroring also appears in vocal patterns. During an engaging exchange, you may notice that her tone, volume, or cadence begins to resemble yours. Conversations develop a shared rhythm, almost like a dance where each person responds to the other's cues. This vocal synchronization enhances emotional connection because it signals attentiveness. She's not only hearing your words, but tuning into the emotional texture behind them. Another layer of mirroring involves emotional expression. When someone is attracted to you, they often reflect your emotional states with heightened sensitivity. If you share excitement about an achievement, her reaction may carry genuine enthusiasm that mirrors your own. If you speak about a challenge, her expression may soften with empathy. This emotional resonance indicates that she is mentally stepping into your perspective, which strengthens the sense of closeness. It is important to understand that mirroring is rarely perfect or mechanical. It exists in degrees and appears most clearly when interactions are relaxed and natural. Overly forced imitation can feel uncomfortable or artificial, but authentic mirroring is fluid and barely noticeable. You might only recognize it in retrospect, when you realize how easily the conversation flowed and how connected the moment felt. Context also influences how mirroring manifests. In quieter settings, it may show up through posture and gestures. In lively environments, it might appear in shared laughter or synchronized reactions to external events. The common thread is a pattern of behavioral alignment that reflects mutual engagement. When attraction is present, the desire to connect encourages this alignment to happen more frequently and consistently. Observing mirroring requires attention to patterns rather than isolated gestures. A single shared movement could be coincidence, but repeated synchronization across different interactions suggests a deeper psychological process. This pattern reveals that she is not only interested in what you are saying, but is also attuned to how you are being. Her mind is actively seeking harmony with yours, which is a strong indicator of emotional investment. Mirroring also contributes to a feedback loop that reinforces attraction. As both people feel more comfortable and understood, they relax into the interaction. This relaxation encourages further synchronization, deepening the sense of rapport. The experience becomes self-sustaining. Alignment fosters connection, and connection fosters more alignment. Ultimately, mirroring behavior highlights the quiet intelligence of human social instincts. It shows that attraction is not always declared through words or grand gestures. Sometimes it lives in the gentle choreography of shared movement and emotion. When two people unconsciously reflect one another, they are participating in a subtle dialogue that communicates interest, empathy, and the wish to draw closer. This silent conversation reminds us that much of human connection happens beneath the surface, where the body and mind collaborate to express what words alone cannot fully capture. Prolonged eye contact is one of the most powerful yet understated signals of attraction because it creates a direct channel of nonverbal communication. The eyes play a central role in how humans interpret emotion and intention. When someone holds your gaze a little longer than social convention requires, it often suggests a heightened level of interest and engagement. This extended connection is not simply about looking. It is about being mentally and emotionally present in the moment you share. Eye contact activates deep psychological processes. When two people lock eyes, their brains exchange a remarkable amount of information in a short time. Subtle shifts in pupil size, blinking patterns, and facial microexpressions all contribute to how attraction is communicated. A prolonged gaze can signal curiosity, admiration, and a willingness to be vulnerable. It indicates that she is comfortable, allowing herself to be seen while also taking in your presence with focused attention. One reason prolonged eye contact feels so significant is that it temporarily narrows the world to a shared space between two people. Background distractions fade as awareness centers on the interaction. This focused attention can create a sense of intimacy even in casual settings. When attraction is present, maintaining eye contact becomes a way of strengthening that intimate moment. It reflects a desire to stay connected rather than withdraw. There is also an emotional dimension to sustained eye contact. Looking into someone's eyes for an extended period can evoke feelings of warmth and recognition. It allows both people to read subtle emotional cues that words might not express. If she frequently meets your gaze and holds it with a relaxed expression, it suggests she is emotionally invested in the exchange. Her attention is not scattered. It is anchored in the connection she feels with you. Timing and context shape how this signal appears. In conversations marked by genuine interest, eye contact tends to follow a natural rhythm. She may look away briefly to think or respond, then return her gaze to re-establish connection. The important factor is consistency. Repeated moments of lingering eye contact across interactions form a pattern that points to sustained engagement. These moments accumulate into a silent dialogue that reinforces attraction. Physiological responses also play a role. Attraction can subtly influence the body's automatic reactions. Pupils may dilate slightly when a person is emotionally stimulated or intrigued. While this change is often too subtle to notice consciously, it contributes to the overall impression of openness and attentiveness. Combined with relaxed facial muscles and steady focus, these cues create an expression that communicates interest without words. It is important to distinguish between comfortable eye contact and staring. Healthy, prolonged eye contact feels mutual and balanced. It allows space for both people to participate without discomfort. When attraction is genuine, the gaze carries softness rather than intensity. It invites connection instead of demanding it. This balance reflects emotional intelligence and respect for personal boundaries. 2. Cultural and individual differences influence how eye contact is expressed. Some people are naturally more reserved, while others are expressive with their gaze. Recognizing attraction through eye contact requires sensitivity to these variations. Rather than focusing on a single moment, it is more meaningful to observe recurring patterns of attentive looking that align with other signs of engagement. Prolonged eye contact also strengthens memory and emotional impact. Moments when two people hold each other's gaze tend to linger in the mind. They become reference points that shape how each person interprets the relationship. When she consistently shares these moments with you, it suggests that the interaction carries personal significance. Her mind is marking the connection as meaningful. Ultimately, sustained eye contact is a quiet affirmation of presence. It communicates that she is not merely passing through the conversation, but actively choosing to engage. In a world filled with distractions, giving someone your full visual attention is a powerful gesture. It signals openness, curiosity, and a willingness to explore the emotional space between you. Through this simple yet profound act, attraction expresses itself in a language older than words, reminding us that connection often begins with the courage to truly see and be seen.